During this recording, we had some technical difficulties. Our peer-to-peer helpers are here today. They're discussing ways to help relieve stress as a student.
I know that for a lot of us, going to the gym is a big deal to help with stress, whether that's academically or athletically. We all are in the gym at some point. Academically, I go to the gym a couple times a day just to focus on myself. That way, because when you're in the gym, it's just you versus the weights. So that's one way I feel like gyms help us cooperate with stress.
For sure.
Do you have any other ideas, stressing wise?
Me?
Yeah.
No, just the gym. Just gym. Yeah.
I know
Just go to
sleep's a
gym.
big deal too. I know a lot of people love getting sleep to help with stress, and so. Is there anything else stressing wise to help someone cooperate with it?
I have always found prayer to be one of my best ways to cope with stress, because I think that, praise the Lord, but definitely just prayer has gotten me through a lot of really, really hard things in my life.
I think if you believe in something so much to the point where you're not worried about it, that's gonna help it. And I believe in a father just like you do, so I think that's one way it helps me as well. I know that a lot of us have a lot of friends.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel you can talk to a friend or a colleague about a situation to help you?
I think I definitely do have just a couple of close friends that I really would bring anything to and talk to, and I do appreciate that they really care about me enough to listen to what I have to say without judgment.
Yeah. Owen?
It's good to know that I got friends. I got friends that will always have my back no matter what situation I'm in. So it's just good to have those people there for you.
Yeah, friends are a big deal when it comes to helping with stress and cooperating with the outside world, honestly. If you can have somebody that is just open-minded and willing to work with you, you'll go far. Do you have anything else before we move on?
I don't know, think of my friends. I love my friends, and I can always rely on them to help me out when I need it.
When we're focused too much on a certain topic, whether that's a bad day at school, we tend to over-focus on the issue, and that's what causes other issues. And so I think one way to relieve stress is get rid of the stressor in itself. It's because, you could have a bad day, but the only way you continue to have the bad day is if you let the bad day continue to work.
Right there.
Yeah, change your mindset.
That is it right there. A bad day is just it. It is a bad day. It is a bad 24 hours. A bad 12 hours, right?
It could be bad 5 minutes.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be a full day of a process.
It doesn't. You can really think about it and say, okay, this really sucked. I'm gonna move forward. And that's literally anything in life. You can have a bad day at the gym. You can not meet your PR. You can, all right, well, today sucked. But tomorrow I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep moving.
Yeah. And I think just doing something
Yes.
is getting rid of a stressor in itself.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna be stressful, whether that's waking up in the morning, going outside, going to school, anything. Everything's gonna be stressful.
And even if
But you have to find something willing to be stressed for.
Right.
Once you care about something enough to stress, that's when it.
And just putting the energy of stress into something better than stress,
Right.
Because, we use a lot of energy, stressing about stuff. I know, some nights when I'm worried about, tomorrow, I'm I don't sleep because I'm always worrying about being stressed. But you can funnel it into other things.
If only we could take that energy from stress and bottle it up and put it towards something else, but that's it right there. And
It's managing something stressful. It's
Yes.
all it is just managing something. You're never gonna be legitimately 100% on something. You just gotta manage it. Yeah, you just gotta manage it better.
Figure out how you're going to manage it, and whether it's if you're really stressed and you know that you can't get rid of the feeling, I pray a lot. If I can't pray about it and talk myself out of it with good self-talk, I'm okay, probably gonna clean, and I keep myself. I hate cleaning, but I'm really good at it when I'm stressed, and I find something to do and focus my attention and thoughts elsewhere, and that's definitely something to really.
Yeah.
that
I think
helps you.
one thing to help with stress is helping somebody else. Whether
Yes.
it doesn't have to be stress, but I don't know you guys, if any of y'all know, but I was coming back from a track practice one day. It was back during spring break, and I was just super upset. I wasn't running good, wasn't throwing good, nothing. And I was leaving, and I saw an elderly gentleman on the side of the road, and I went and started helping him. He had a stroke, so I helped him. I turned him to his side, called the cops, all of it. He got flown down to Albuquerque, and so I went and visited him in the hospital down here before he was flown out. And I think after that, I recognize that I'm not in a situation that it is for me to be upset about, because there's other people that are living worse situations than I am. And so my family calls me a hero, but I don't look at myself as a hero. I just look at myself as helping somebody else, and because if it was me, I would want somebody to help me. So I don't know. I think it's just helping somebody else in anything.
And you were there at the right time.
Yeah, I think I was put in a situation to help.
You were.
Absolutely.
You touched on two really important things. Sometimes it takes perspective. Sometimes we're going through stress, and it feels like the worst possible thing. So it's still important to acknowledge whatever you're going through. Nobody can tell you, oh, well, you're worried about a test. Well, I'm over here worried about failing a whole class. Your stress still matters. Whatever it is, it definitely acknowledge it. It still matters. But it is also, sometimes I put myself in stress. I'm worried about this. And I'm like, hey, but I still have, all these good things going on in my life. And this is just minor. And I know we're going to get over it because we've gotten over every problem since then.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to acknowledge it, but also to realize, it could be worse.
It could be worse,
And with that, one thing I've had to learn is no matter how hard it is, worrying is never going to get you further than where you are right now. If you are struggling with something, your own worry is not going to progress you in removing that stress. It's only going to make it worse. And that's why.
Yeah, and definitely counseling. Counseling is really important. Admitting to yourself with all of these stressors, right? It's great to sit here and find ways to cope. And you should try all of them. You should explore all of those avenues. But sometimes it does take professional help.
Mm-hmm.
And really admitting to yourself, hey, I'm having a really hard time with this and I think I need help. Truly is one of the biggest first steps you can take for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And going out there and finding a counselor and making a regular weekly appointment, it will change your life.
And to be okay with being vulnerable, even though it sucks, even though it's hard.
Honesty.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing though, is you touched on it. You said, what was it? You said you have to be willing to accept the help. That's the issue right now. I feel like a lot of us have is we're not willing to go to somebody for help. Not even close friends. I feel like I don't feel like if I'm going through anything, I don't think I could go and reach out to my friends and talk about it to them, because a lot of friends are not, oh, let me help you out with that situation, even though they should be. A lot of them are like, oh, well, suck it up. I've had so-and-so issues. Because right now my nephew has been flown in and out of hospitals at 9 months because he's had seizures. He's 22 days clean right now, but it's just it doesn't happen to just me though. I'm worried about him in situations, and I don't think I could go to my friends and be like, look, I need you guys to help support me in this situation, because they're gonna be like, just suck it up.
I mean, they don't know how to support you.
Yeah.
They themselves have never dealt with that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big one. That's why it's so hard to sit there and go to your friends. We all have probably experienced a unique situation,
Mm-hmm.
and in different, sometimes maybe really unique or something really awful, and you just don't feel like telling anybody. And it's a very lonely experience, and maybe you want to tell a friend, but you get that kind of a reply. Maybe you go really vulnerable, really honest, and you say, hey, this really awful thing happened to me. And your friends are like, oh man, that sucks, I'm so sorry.
You just don't know what to say, and
and
you're
not getting that connection.
You're not getting the help, you're getting
sympathy.
you're getting sympathy.
Sympathy
Over him.
but it never satisfies you.
Sympathy isn't really a solution when it comes to stress and, just the trials that we go through in life.
Yeah.
Sympathy's cool. Sometimes, I had to deal with even myself being kind of prideful. I got so angry that I didn't want to tell people I didn't want sympathy because it felt like pity.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody's pity. I can figure this out.
I can handle my own pity.
And it's it's hard. So finding the right kind of help. When you can't go to your friends or people that have been through, if you've been through trauma, something of that nature, finding a counselor who can tell you, who has experience speaking with you about that, because that's gonna fill your cup. They're gonna tell you strategies, they're gonna talk to you, they're gonna understand. And maybe even opening up about something super traumatic, even if you have close friends, it's still really hard to do.
And without the
When
pity.
someone dies.
Yeah, be dealing with death or your own personal, like suicidal thoughts or depression, anxiety, depression over things that maybe other people might not get.
PTSD.
It's really hard. You're right. It's really, really hard. So counseling is such an excellent avenue.
Yeah, I think one thing we all need to understand, and because I did a topic on this for one of my college classes, so they wanted us to like find, what's the word I'm looking for, an issue that we have in the world right now, in our area, and I summed everything up to lack of compassion for oneself or others. I feel like and it sounds bad to say right now, but I don't feel like we can help somebody else if we haven't helped ourselves yet.
Right there.
We can't tell anybody, look, try to do this to get rid of this stress, try to do this to get rid of this, blah, blah, blah. We can't do that if we haven't eliminated our own stress, and we're always going to have stress. So I don't feel like we can tell anybody to do something if we haven't done it yet.
You can only meet others where you have met yourself.
That's like when they tell you, in the case of an emergency on, like, say, an airplane, say, put your oxygen mask on before you put on someone else's, because you can't help anybody else
If you can't help
unless
yourself.
you are set first.
Yeah.
And that's it right there. You have to, it's so hard to look inward. And I think a lot of us really lack that self-awareness. And for some people it comes right away, for others it doesn't. And to really look inside of yourself and see where you need help, and to like love yourself enough. Loving yourself's really hard. It is so hard to love yourself and acknowledge that what the good things that you deserve, how you deserve to be treated, when you're going through a hard time, I don't know how many times I tell myself to suck it up. And in reality, I don't need, I have to suck it up, but why? Like, what do I need to do to solve this? What's really going on? I'm really hurt. How do I fix me? Because then once you work on you and you solve that problem, yes, you can turn around and give that to someone else. And then you have that understanding, like, hey, I went through this really hard time myself, and this is what I did, and it really made me feel better. You're talking from a place.
Loving yourself is hard, but so is hating yourself. And so it's like you kind of got to choose.
Hating yourself
choose
is
your heart.
easier.
Yeah, choose whether or not you're going to put in the work to, become a better person instead of hating yourself. Because either way, it's going to be hard, but you got to choose.
And
Hating's easier to figure out yourself, because you can ask somebody right now, be like, look, what do you hate about yourself? And they can mention things off the top of your
Just
head.
like
But
how-
you say, what's one thing you love about yourself? And it's like, oh, frick, I hit a brick wall. They're like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? I don't love situations. I also think that there's never always an answer to a solution. We're looking for an answer to a solution. There's not always an answer to the solution or to the problem. Yeah, there's not always an answer to the problem. There's never always.
No.
There's probability of getting one, but there's not ever actually an answer.
Sometimes things are not figure outable right away.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not. And sometimes you just kind of have to be able to have, if you can't come to a solution right away, you can't come to that answer. Maybe it's just not apparent yet. You have to have grace, whether it's through having that with yourself as a stressor, and just be like, okay, so we did not get to the solution of the problem today, but I love myself, and I'm going to work towards this. Or if you're doing that for a friend, sometimes situations like that, they just don't have an answer. And you're right, they don't have one yet. Yet.
But having
You haven't
hope that
figured
it'll
it out.
still get better. It's
Yes.
You're not gonna stay in the pit. It's gonna get better.
And that's the best. That is like one of the best things that I have learned. Like I have had personal experiences have been really hard, really hard. I have had depression. I have had a lot. And I finally got around it and realized, like, this is not like this forever. We go through hard times and they are temporary. They will, and I don't know how long they'll last. Sometimes they do last a while, but you will come out of it. And every day, it typically gets better. And, you have to put in that work. You have to put in that self-care. But sometimes when you're in a really deep depression, you do not feel like it is going to get better. That feels like where you're going to stay. And that's why it's so important to have
Yeah, it's that bottomless pit that you're just hoping someone throws a ladder.
And that's where you're hoping for someone, and that's that's where you want to have friends, or that's where having the good coping strategies like praying and meditation and going to the gym and having a good network of people is really important. It's really important. And if you feel like you can't go to your friends, accessing the guidance office, coming to see your counselor, coming to see Miss Edwards, going to a trusted teacher, because sometimes you don't feel comfortable coming to the guidance office. I went to my guidance counselor one time in 4 years, but I had a teacher that was amazing and got me through it. So just being able to ask for help, willing to help yourself.
I know we've all experienced issues. Us peer-to-peer people have experienced issues as well. So I think, and we've been worked with, trained kind of, it should say. We're trainees on how to help somebody with certain issues, whether that's depression issues, suicidal issues, all of that. We're getting trained on how to help people cooperate with it a lot better and understand that it's gonna get easier. Right now it's hard, but it will be easier. So I think and everything that we get told or we say to one another is all confidential. So it's not gonna go around to the entire school or our parents or anything. It's just us. If you talk to us, it'll just be us. No one else has to hear about it.
And the peer-to-peer group is kids that were, if you guys remember the survey we took at the beginning of the year, that was kind of to show people that are good resources and of reliability for issues that we all go through. So peer-to-peer is the group that is full of reliable kids that are going to try to meet you where you are and be a good resource for you in benefiting you. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it can be like scary, like going up to a teacher, like if you like don't want to talk about it and just going up to a teacher and saying like, hey, I need help. And so that's where, we can come into play and we can help you see that there's some light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm. Especially because each one of us chose to be here, and I think we can all say that we have a desire to be there for people when they struggle, because we've all been through something that we needed another person to guide us along in getting us better. So I think that we would all be more than happy to be a resource for you.
Yeah, we would rather you be mad at us for the 5 minutes or for the day than you not be here and us crying over you guys down the run and having to go and see you guys in a dark time or not with us anymore. I think everybody would agree with that. Counselors, students, other people. Couple of weeks ago, a month ago, I believe it was a month ago, I lost a close friend of myself. And a lot of the football players, he was a close friend to us. And when he lost his life, I sat there and contemplated if I was good enough to be a peer-to-peer person, because I played video games with him. I did all this stuff and never once figured out or never once saw signs that he was going to do something. And so for the longest time, I sat there and contemplated if I was good enough to be a peer-to-peer helper. And I got talked to by a lot of the students throughout the time and stuff on who gave me their issues, and I was able to help them throughout a process. And so that kind of helped me understand that I'm not in it alone. And it just made me feel better over time.
I'm Ainsley.
I'm Sadie.
I'm Owen.
I'm Riley, and we want to thank you guys for listening and understanding how to cooperate with this from the peer-to-peer program. See you guys.